Hello and welcome to Studying Abroad, the show that accompanies you on your journey, sharing the guidance and insight you need to make it happen. Hi, I'm Deepika. I'm here at home in New York City. Today, we are going to take a deep dive into the realities of moving to another country to further your studies and career. I'll be joined by students who have done it themselves, asking them for all their advice and experience on how they decided on their course and accessing student financing. Coming up in today's show, we hear from two master's students in New York, how they found their places and how they secured their student financing. In our advice surgery, we hear from a prospective student in Brazil with a student financing expert on hand to answer their questions. We speak to a data science master's student about hunting for internships in New York City. I'm joined now by my first guests, Arpit, Sangeeta, and Joel. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thank you, Deepika.
Hi there.
Can I ask each of you to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, hello guys. My name is Arpit Ranka and I hail from Surat, Gujarat, India. I did my bachelor's in computer sciences at SRM Chennai and currently I'm pursuing my master's in computer science at NYU Tandon School of Engineering.
I'm Sangeeta Rajkumar. I am a recent Cornell alumni. I pursued my master's in engineering management and graduated in May 2020. Very happy with the journey, and currently I'm a technical product manager at PayPal. My home country is India. Specifically, I was born and raised in Bangalore. Now I'm currently in Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Hi, Joel.
Hi, guys. I'm Joel from the Prodigy finance team. We're thrilled to be here. For me, this is the best part, the stories. I think that's really the origin of Prodigy, if you think about it, is all of the stories of the incredible people all over the world that are really trying to pursue their dreams, better themselves, better their families and their communities. And it's an absolute privilege to be able to not only meet students all over the world, but help them on their journey.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Arpit, what gave you the urge for abroad study?
Yeah, so I came to the US right after my undergrad studies in India. I was an engineer, I was doing BTech. So I was an engineer in SRM Chennai, and around the end of 2017, around September to December, I decided that I wanted to pursue higher studies abroad. It had always been a dream of mine to chase the American dream. So I bought GRE books that time, but I did not quite start preparing because I realized, like almost all engineering students, my CGPA was puncturing bad, and I began improving my CGPA, and I started GRE prep and TOEFL around May of 2018. Around November of 2018, I think that is when like the early colleges like UCLA and all have those deadlines in November. So I started applying then, writing doing all of these preparation SOP LORs, and yeah, finally applied and got here in August of 2019. So UC Davis is a pretty good college as well. So is NYU. So then I had to choose between the East Coast versus the West Coast. And for me, it was more about choosing between a college town and a metropolitan city. And I went with New York City.
Oh, great. And how was it in your case, Sangeeta?
In my case, the hard work and luck played a lot of factors. So I applied for 7 and got into 6 universities. So a lot of choices over there. Which do I need to choose? So with respect to that, I was knowing what I want to do in my masters. So my specific target was product management, but explicitly I wanted to look at some of the courses that I can mix and match with the product management, because product management is not just about learning product management, it's also learning about data analytics, it's also learning about designing a product. I had that leverage, so I wanted to customize my course according to my needs. Hence Cornell suited best for me, and I'm very happy at the end, and the outcome was really nice.
What were you doing before you started your master's program?
Previously, I started working back in 2015 with a company called Accenture. I was a software engineer at that time, and later my role grew into product owner role. That's where I was very much interested in building products and seeing it come alive, and wanted to make this as my full-time career. And I was very passionate about this. Yeah, I'm very passionate about it right now too. Then I wanted to give this a formal education, and that's where I started exploring my options. I was very meticulous during my preparation, because these things definitely take time, like application, visa processing, everything takes a lot of time. So I was very meticulous in my planning. So I took around 2 to 3 months to prepare my GRE and TOEFL. So around August, I gave my GRE, and coming September, I gave my TOEFL. So I had those scores ready with me. And one thing I would say is start this research very beginning, early in the stages. Like when you're giving GRE and TOEFL, along with that, start researching on the university options. Because at the end of the GRE, right, you have to submit your score. You can submit your score for 4 universities without any cost. So that means if you have done some research on which universities you want to apply to, you can send this course immediately, and so that they receive this course beforehand, so that everything is like packaged and ready for you when you send your SOP. That is one of the suggestions I would give for students.
Yeah, thank you, Sangeeta. So, Arpit, how did you go about managing the finances for your master's education?
Yeah, so around the same time I finished giving my GRE and TOEFL, that is around October 2018, I started looking at the financial options. And so I was very active in the meetup scene in Chennai. So I found out that Prodigy Finance is hosting an Q&A session in Chennai. So I decided to go there. And the event was, I believe, from 5 to 7, and I was there early around 4:50. And there was Neha, and almost no one showed up till 6 p.m. So I had a 1 year 1 hour long conversation with Neha, and I asked her all my doubts, all my reservations, my plans about financing, and she just dispelled all of my fears and myths about financing. Coming from an engineering background, I have like zero education in finance. So after this, I reached out to my sister, who is a bank manager at Axis Bank, and she has all the knowledge. I told her this happened, and she told me then let me look at other banks and get back to you. And I told her, yeah, you should do that. Later, when the stage came, when I was pretty confident that I should go with Prodigy, but my dad was not, because my dad is always making fun of me. You order everything on Amazon. You are these new kids who don't want to see anything and just get it. So he was very worried that I'm getting a loan from an online company that doesn't even have an office in India. So my sister supported me through that. She was like, no, this company is grounded. It has some Forbes articles, and she showed up some proof. But we were still not sure which to go with. There were many Indian banks. My dad already has an account with some of these Indian banks, and the managers were promising like a good interest rate. So we were still not sure. Then I applied for both of my admissions, that is UC Davis and NYU, and I got the results back. You were ready to offer me loans on both of them, and you also showed me an interest rate. And I compared those with the ones that the Indian banks were offering me, and the choice was clear. I was going with Prodigy. And also, I at that time my sister gave me the suggestion that it's better to take a loan in US dollars if you're gonna pay it back in US dollars. So I just held with that advice. One of the rarest time I listened to my sister.
See, it pays to be the early bird, Arpit. You showed up early and you got all your questions answered.
Yeah, that conversation was really a game changer for me. I knew nothing and I came out knowing almost everything about the financial aspect.
Yeah, and Arpit, I can see why your father, like, was surprised with Prodigy Finance, because the first time I learned about Prodigy Finance, I was also surprised because you don't need a collateral, you don't need a co-signer, and still they are offering you loans.
Yeah.
So how was it in your case, Sangeeta?
Sure. University costs are different from each university. The tuition fee itself is different from each university. So once I decided, okay, I'll go with Cornell University. I think I have gone along with my mom to 3 or 4 different banks, spoke with bank managers personally. uh, so during these conversations, they are like, "Yeah, if we can do it, it's very great. Oh, that's really nice. You got into Cornell, such a good university." So they definitely gave me a positive hope. Okay, saying that, okay, yeah, we can make this possible to you. I will route to my assistant and she'll take care from there. She or he will take care from there. So that's when the hurdle kind of kicked in. With respect to bringing in lot of these applications, and mostly these applications are not, mostly these documents are not from my end. Like, these are my parents' documents, like their bank statement, their tax income, their employment letters, and whatnot. Ultimately, what happened was some of the banks, the interest rates was too high, and some of the banks really rejected me. They rejected me. They rejected my loan because of my parents' documents. My parents had some other loan, so they were like forcing me to close that loan. That time itself, they could give me a loan. So I was, at one point of time, let me be very honest, Deepika, I thought this dream would be really not possible. One day I was totally down. I didn't go to office that time. I was like totally down. Did not even, um, did not know how to proceed. So that's where, that was the time that one of my friend, who is also a graduate student now, he kind of introduced me to Prodigy. He told, okay, the Prodigy is really great. They give the result of your application very quickly, because because Indian banks took almost like 2 to 3 weeks just to spit out the results. There, it was such a tedious and long process. I would definitely not recommend at this point of time, because Prodigy is mainly so comfortable, right? With respect to applying application, I just applied on Friday night, and Monday morning I got a result. So that was commendable. That was the state of response I got. And the response was also a happy response. It was not like, okay, we can't fund you or anything like that. The response was like, yeah, definitely we can fund you. These are the rates. This is the option. So that gave me a really good hope. That, because I would personally say, without Prodigy, I know this might be like cliche, but definitely it is truth. Without Prodigy, I would definitely not have pursued my masters. My American dream would not have been fulfilled, because most of the Indian banks rejected the loan because my parents had some other loan. And Prodigy really helped me with making sure the loan is on me. And I really wanted that financial independence as well. So Prodigy really opened my eyes, and going into Prodigy, the making me like a financially capable person to repay the loan by myself, not depending on any third party. In that third party can be anyone, like my family, my close acquaintance. Not depending on them, just depending on myself, was a really good step and a huge step for me as well.
I really hear you, Sangeeta. It feels like you get to see how that you have been able to get the loan from Prodigy on your capability, based on your own capability and what you are capable of for your in terms of your future and your career. Joel, what motivates Prodigy to do what it does?
I think honestly, what motivates us is exactly the story that Sangeeta took you through. I mean, after years of planning to get into school and months of taking exams and writing essays and submitting applications, and actually then receiving those incredible letters where you rip open the envelope and you see like, congratulations, you've been admitted to the class of, that's the exciting part. That should be the hardest part. That's the achievement. You worked your whole life to get to that level. you know, it should be on an evaluation of how Sangeeta is going to do or Arpit's going to do based on their program and after their program. It shouldn't be based on their parents or the home that they've grew up in or the money that they may have in the bank at this time, because the whole purpose of education is to, increase someone's perspective, enhance their skills, make them more prepared, more ready for, an exciting career or an advance in their current career. So you really need to assess people based on their future potential. And that's really what we're talking here today about, is about future potential and why people chose the programs they chose. The most important component about finance, personal finance, is about control. I think when people feel anxious about finance and their finances, it's because they feel like they're not in control. And if you can give someone that control, that they choose how they want it, when they want it, how they're going to repay it, how much they're going to take, flexibility if they can borrow more, then I think you remove a lot of that stress.
Okay. So, Sangeeta and Arpit, you guys received the loan from Prodigy, and you also graduated from your respective programs. What's your plan? How are you going to pay back the loans?
Yeah, good question, Deepika. Yeah, it looks like a big mountain, but once you scratch little by little, it just gets diminished, and you feel very confident and empowered to pay off that. So definitely, it's not a, 1 day or a 6 months period. I'm planning to repay in next coming 2 to 3 years. It's definitely possible. So I'm that's how I plan to do it.
How about you, Arpit?
Yeah, so regarding me, I'm still in grad school. I've only finished 1 year of study and have one more year of study to go. So I've begun looking for jobs right now. And although this time when I visited India due to Corona situation, my dad had a great interest in paying off my loans and not to accumulate extra interest. But I told him, no, this one's on me, and I'll pay it back when I get my New York high paying job next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must be really proud of you.
Yeah.
And Joel, what would be your message to all those students who are trying to embark on their journey for an international degree, for abroad study?
Yeah, I think Arpit and Sangeeta said it best, which is, don't let a small obstacle, a small bump in the road like this kind of global pandemic slow down, what you're fighting for. Keep at it, and I think there's no other way to say it. It's a dream for a reason. Go after it.
Thank you. It was wonderful talking to each of you. Thank you so much, Joel. Thank you so much, Arpit and Sangeeta.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Carlos. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Deepika.
Why don't you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So, my name is Carlos. I am Colombian and I am a physician by training. I am currently in Johns Hopkins MPH program, and I'm very happy to be here.
So, Carlos, this section is all about asking questions. So, go ahead with the question.
Sure. So in these times of COVID-19 and a lot of uncertainty, many students like me face a little bit of, let's say, several barriers, let's say, to get financial aid. And that includes acquiring documentation of past countries we lived in, or documentation with banks that are now closed due to restrictions or things like this. So I definitely want to know a little bit more on how can students receive support with these kind of logistical barriers that we might face during this time.
Sure. So it's a great question. I think one that's coming up literally every day from students all over the globe. We have definitely seen that in light of the pandemic that many financial institutions, banks, providers, even online lenders have stopped offering loans, have stopped offering funding because of the complexities. We're proud that we've been able to keep applications open and help students around the world, and have actually had to adapt in light of that. So I think that we've done a few things in our process to help support students. One is that we have increased the amount of time that we give students both to review offers, accept offers, provide documentation. We're also making accommodations for the types of documents that you can provide to us. So for example, if we ask you to prove that you don't have other lines of credit open or other loans or other debt onto your name, and maybe you struggle to get your credit bureau report from your home country, there are alternate processes that we can work with, maybe your bank, maybe some online proofs. And so we have a dedicated team that's working through some of these kind of alternate options. I will say that while some of that is new, for the most part, that's not really new to us. I mean, we service students in 150 countries, and so because of that, that means that we're quite accustomed to dealing with 150 different processes for how a bank statement looks in Colombia as compared to in Kazakhstan versus India. So we're very comfortable with that. Documents of different languages and etc. So we have a great support team standing by, and behind that support team are a bunch of service leaders who are trained explicitly in exactly what you're asking.
Thank you so much for that. I definitely think it's important that students still know that this is a resource that they can attain to. And how would the process be, for example, like if I face these kinds of barriers, like is it just sending an email to you guys? Do I need to upload anything to the platform? Like,
Sure. So the standard process is you submit you create an application, you register on our website, you create an application that selects the school. You mentioned Johns Hopkins. It's going to ask you a few questions about yourself, where in the world you are. It's going to ask you a few questions related to your budget. We ask all of our students to kind of think through how they're going to plan to cover the costs of the entire program, not just the first term or the first semester or even the first year. We really want to reduce the surprises for all of the students. You'll then receive a provisional offer. Over 85% of our students get an immediate response of how much you can get in funding, what the terms are, what the rates are, etc. We're now giving customers a month to determine whether they want to accept that offer. We have, like I said, extended those deadlines from our normal times. And then as you go through the documentation process, we're going to ask you for a few kind of simple documents. One is identity, proof who you are, proof of admission to make sure we know which program exactly you're going to. You can typically upload your letters of acceptance from the school. And again, there are a bunch of different kind of alternates depending on how the school sent you that acceptance letter. We're going to ask you for proof of any scholarships if those are applicable. We're going to ask you for proof of any savings if those are applicable to contributing towards your budget. We're going to ask you for proof of anything that you put into your budget. So if you said that you had a prior education loan or you have a car loan, we're going to ask for a local credit report. If you don't have a local credit report, we have some other options to confirm that. But all that's going to be just uploading documents right to the platform. In many instances, you can even upload screenshots. You can forward emails maybe from your bank. And if you have questions along the way, you can, either email us at info@prodigyfinance.com. We also have support numbers for multiple countries on the website, and we even have live chat functionality.
thank you so much. I think that definitely gives more, not only options, but more clarity into kind of how to adapt to these circumstances because they're very new. Like for example, in Latin America, the peak of the pandemic has just started in the past couple of months, and many people are very uncertain of like education status like at the moment. So I think that's very helpful that there are like several options.
That's great, Carlos. Well, good luck. It sounds like a great program you're headed towards.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very excited about it actually.
Hi, Mihir. Welcome to our podcast.
Hi, Deepika. Thank you so much for having me over here.
Yeah, sure. Would you like to give a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. So this is Mihir. I used to stay in Mumbai. I came over here. I applied to a couple of universities. Fortunate enough to get admits from Columbia University, Georgia Tech, Cornell, and finally I ended up over here in New York at choosing Columbia University. So here I am doing my master's in industrial engineering with a concentration in data science and machine learning. During this summer, I did a summer internship with a consulting company, and right now I'm currently interning with a fintech company, Hexanica, as a financial engineer consultant, and I'll be working with them till the end of this December. And I'm also working on an Apple internal project over the fall semester, and just finishing up my last semester here at Columbia, and I graduate this December.
Wow. That's really awesome. That's really exciting. So, as you said, you are in the last year of your program. When did your search begin for internship?
So to be honest, it began 2 weeks after I came over here, like in US in 20, like Columbia is a 1.5 year course. So you do not have like four semesters. You just have 3 semesters. So fall semester, spring semester, and fall semester again. So the thing that we look for is a summer 2020 internship when I came in fall 2019. So we have like around 1 year to find that internship. And I definitely knew that I'm not from a background where I'll be easily welcomed to any company. So I had started looking for internships long back in September, October. And that is how it should be basically, because all of these finance companies, like all the companies on Wall Street, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman, TD, all these companies finish their, like, there are different departments within the team, of course, within the company, but all of these finance related jobs, all the applications are done by the end of November or December for the next year's internship. So they start very early. They end up very early. So I'm glad that I started looking at that time, so that I had an opportunity like to interview with JP Morgan. But I'm definitely sure that if I had like started applying after 6 months or after 5 months after I came over here, I wouldn't have that opportunity to even interview for that role. So I just started looking for internships like 2 weeks later I came over here.
Wow, that's pretty early. But you said that's how it goes, right?
Yeah, that's how it goes. If you're looking for finance roles, then definitely yes. If you're looking for technology roles, like or like if you're fine working with other industries like oil and gas, media companies, or other tech companies, Apple and stuff, then you're definitely fine looking for opportunities starting January, February. If you're looking for a summer internship, so January, February should be a good time, and you can build your profile in the fall semester basically.
Okay. Can you walk us through your personal experience of landing the internship that you are currently doing?
Sure. So current internship was a total roller coaster. Like I was constantly looking out for people on LinkedIn, and I got this internship via LinkedIn. To be honest, I was interning with this company, and with this summer internship company, Habday Group, and I was also like constantly like just looking out for people on LinkedIn, like the CEOs, CTOs, directors, heads of departments, kind of people, and I was messaging them. I had a messaging template ready. I used to send them, like I used to do my research about the company and like write one company specific problem or something that I could find that would personalize that message. I would send them. Hardly any replies. I used to also track the conversion rates of how many people are actually replying to me. The conversion rate went about 20 to 25%. So out of 100 invitations that I actually sent, I used to get around 20 to 25 replies from these heads and directors. I used to also like check the referral conversion rate. So 1% is the referral conversion rate that I got. So one person would refer out of the 100 invitations that I used to send out, and got lucky that the person that I reached out to at my current company replied to me, and he gave me a small mini project which I completed. and he liked my technical background and skills, and he liked the project output. So then he just gave me an offer. So that is how I went about finding this current internship.
When did you start the internship?
I just started like this month. Right? So it's been
Oh,
like
wow.
yeah,
Wow. So how
couple
has
of
the
days.
experience been so far?
It's great. It's wonderful. Like the problem statements that I'm dealing with is really challenging right now. So with all of these experience in last past 1 year, I'm still at the ground level of exploring that problem statement right now. So it's really glad to know that the industry that we are in, the fintech industry, is has grown so much and has so much potential that even with so much expertise and experience, you wouldn't be able to like crack a problem very quickly. So it's very challenging, and that is what I'm enjoying right now.
Okay, that's really good to hear. If right now you were in your first semester,
Mhm.
what is one thing you would have done differently?
Um, Always think about it, and it's about networking. Like my answer is straight away networking. Like when I came here, I used to directly like apply to 5 to 10 companies per day without having any knowledge of what I'm doing or what the if the job role actually matches to my resume. Like I just used to like read the uh, job title and apply, but I really understood that this is not how it works. You really need to know someone from the company. You need to build that relationship with them. You need to have a very strong network inside the company for in order to understand what the problems are faced by these companies. You address those problems in your cover letter, in your resume, and you frame your resume, or you do some projects along the lines of that, and then you apply. And even though that way you'll be able to do probably 30% of the applications that you would have done otherwise, but out of those 30%, you will be getting majority of the calls from these companies. So I would suggest this one thing to everyone who is coming now. Networking is the key. Like you'll really need to know someone from the company, understand the problems, understand what the company means, and frame your resume and cover letter as per what the company says in public. Like that is the keyword should match basically.
Mhm. And finally, what are your hopes for the year ahead?
Oh, okay. Uh, as a short-term goal, I really hope to like gain knowledge and experience and expertise because I'm only 1.5 year, 2 years into this machine learning data science thing. So I already had Python experience from undergrad, but that's something which is very preliminary. So I really hope to like gain the expertise that the industry looks forward to. I like tend to meet new people and meet people who have achieved like so much in their lives, and that is how I want to like shape my next 2 to 3 years, just about gaining experience and expertise and meeting people. I really hope the H1B thing works out, and my H1B is filed properly, and I get an OPT extension and things along those lines. And as a long-term goal, I plan to like go back in India after a couple of years and start something of my own. So that is like how I frame my life from here.
Wow, it was wonderful talking to you, Mihir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I added some value here and there.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thanks. I really enjoyed talking to you, Mihir. That is all we have time for in today's episode. But we know there is a lot more to talk about. Leave us your questions in the comments. Let us know what topics you would like us to cover, so that would help you on your journey to studying abroad. Thanks for joining us, and see you soon.